Let's cook. I have a small family and I work a full-time job, but that doesn't mean that we don't need to eat. And while we don't do many lunches because we're all at work or school, we do need breakfast and dinners. So today I'd like to share with you our favorite rustic breakfast and two dinners. One is quick and simple, and the other a little more complicated holiday meal. My husband and I both tend to get up very early in the mornings, and so it's very good for us to have a nice breakfast to get us through until our noonday meal. Our favorite is bacon. Isn't everybody's? And I enjoy making my bacon in the oven. It makes it nice and crisp without splattering my stovetop with grease. This morning's carbohydrate of choice are potatoes and a nice skillet of simple home fries, well seasoned with some onions, made for a hearty side dish. Skillet fried potatoes are one of our favorite side dishes, using real butter and plenty of salt. Here in Arkansas, where I live, eggs are still relatively affordable, around $3.50 a dozen. I'm curious, what are they where you live? Recently, I gave up caffeine in the last few weeks, and I was afraid that it would make my mornings more difficult. But honestly, it hasn't. I was happy to report that I'm sleeping and able to wake up in the mornings, and the lack of caffeine has not really adversely affected my life. So I'm glad that that dependency has been put aside. We're not really a coffee family. We don't even have a coffee maker in the house. So I won't be adding that to a breakfast, although I do enjoy the smell of freshly brewed coffee, and I think that would be the perfect addition to this simple breakfast. One of my family's favorite dinners is boiled shrimp. This is so simple to make, and honestly, it's one of my go to suppers on almost a weekly or every other week basis. Now, shrimp is not the most affordable protein in the store, but when you have a small family, buying one bag of shrimp is much easier. And it's also one of my husband's favorite foods. So I always start out with a well seasoned kettle of water. Lots of salt, Old Bay, garlic, lemon juice or lime in this case, and whatever else you'd like to add. We do enjoy a more spicy boil, although this evening, since we were inside and couldn't do this outside, I did end up keeping it mild. Keep in mind that when you do boils inside, all that steam is going to permeate your house. And if it's very spicy, it can really irritate your throat and nose. Unfortunately, my audio file got corrupted. But what I was saying is that I love these little yellow potatoes, and I think I'm going to go ahead and save a few, throw them into a dark place like a paper bag or my cabinet, and see if I can sprout some and plant those in my garden this spring. I think that would be absolutely delicious. I'm actually going to end up adding an entire package of smoked sausage to this boil and half an onion. The onion will help to season it as well as the sausage, and the sausage will add additional protein to help feed the family. No shrimp boil is complete without a butter sauce. I use 2 sticks of butter, paprika, salt, Old Bay, and lime juice. Then I just melt those slowly over a low heat, stirring occasionally to keep the seasonings from staying granulated. This is so rich and decadent. We love to dip the shrimp into it and put a few spoonfuls over our steamed rice. Although this adds quite a lot of calories, it does add some fat, and every diet does need a little bit of fat in it. This is quite the indulgence, I agree, but it is impeccable. It is delicious, and I don't think you should have a shrimp boil without a little bit of butter sauce. This year, I had to work on Easter. So Easter dinner ended up being very small, just the three of us here at home. We love ham in this house. And so for us to go and buy a large ham was very practical. We will continue to eat this ham throughout the week for breakfast, and I've already placed the leftover ham bone with a large portion of ham still on it in my freezer so that I can make a delicious pot of beans later. I always add Coca Cola and brown sugar to my ham to give it a good hint of sweetness to help counterbalance the saltiness of the ham. Of course, no Easter would be complete without deviled eggs. We actually ended up using jumbo eggs this time, and two out of the eggs I boiled ended up having double yolks. I thought that was very strange. One of these eggs has a double yolk. Greg, come look.
There we go. Figures at least one of them was.
They're so big. I keep my eggs very simple. Salt and pepper, mustard and mayo, and sweet pickle relish. There you go. Now I've heard this dish called two things, smoked rice and barbecued rice. It's just long grain steamed white rice with celery and onions, plenty of creamy chicken soup, salt, pepper, and liquid smoke seasoning, all mixed together and then baked into the oven. It's really very delicious and one of my son's very favorite dishes. Now, I do saute the vegetables in an entire stick of butter to make it nice and rich and moist. And so I really save this dish for holidays only because it is very carbohydrate and calorie heavy. I had some leftover pre-frozen dinner rolls from Christmas in my freezer, and I set those out to rise, and I'll be honest with y'all, they did not do well. I think they had just gotten too old in the freezer from Christmas, and they just did not have the lightness and fluffiness you would expect from a yeast roll. Of course, I can make my own bread, but as I said, I had to work this day, and so I was taking every shortcut available to me. And really, I think homemade bread would have been much better. For me, no meal is complete without vegetables. They're probably one of my favorite additions to any meal. Quick rinse, trim off the ends or pieces that you don't want, and then season with your favorite seasonings. I prefer to roast my vegetables. It cooks them without overcooking them and making them mushy. I do prefer a little bit of crunch and bite to any veggie that I have. Friends, I hope you've had a wonderful week, a good holiday, and that your home is filled with love, laughter, and lots of good food. Until we speak again, take care.